So, you want to be a dungeon master.
That's great. We're here to help. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Justin. This week, we're setting out to help dungeon masters who are trying to bring their players into the promised land known as roleplay. For some, it may be the epitome of cringe, but that's just because they're imagining a forced roleplay encounter during a corporate sales meeting.
Mm-hmm.
We, of course, refer to the art of portraying another person, of mastering empathy through acting, of collaborating with confidence. So listen up, all you soon-to-be thespians. This episode is about to begin. But first, some typos in that script there.
What are you talking about?
What helps you
Me.
to feel more comfortable role playing?
It's the people. It's the table. It's
Yeah.
the people sitting around. Like, I got to be comfortable with the people that I'm playing with.
For sure.
Yeah. I think that's I think that really is the biggest thing, is being able to be comfortable around being able to take the Taylor mask off and put on the character mask. It's something. It's like a hermit crab. You don't want to switch masks if you're not, or switch shells, unless you're in a safe space.
Yeah, unless you're ready. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I agree. I mean, I think that being comfortable with the other people at the table is going to pay dividends in terms of just the comfort, that being able to laugh at yourself and kind of accept that, yes, there are parts of this that are silly. And I'm trying to show people that most of the time things that are perceived as cringe are it's just effort, or it's just effort in a thing that you don't understand. And most of the time it's fine, and it's just like a weird judgment thing. That being said, I recognize that for grown adults to pretend to be orcs and elves and dwarves and fight against dragons is silly. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, when you say it like that,
that's kind of what it is. But I do think we, as people who have done this, we know that it's so much more than that. It's genuinely so fun. And it also is sometimes it can feel really recharging, where you're just getting to hang out with your friends and do this fun activity. It's like a cool scheduled thing that can be really helpful for people like you and me, specifically the neurodivergence of that sort of ADHD of if people aren't constantly in my life, sometimes I'll just kind of out of sight, out of mind. And it's not in a personal or an intentional thing. It's not like, oh, I haven't seen Dale in X number of weeks, I hate him now. That's not true.
Right.
I'm just if Dale reaches out to me, I'm going to talk to Dale for 3 hours. But I, unfortunately, the way my brain works is I don't often think of just let me just hit up Dale for no reason at all and just see how he's doing. I wish I had that. I don't. I'm trying to get better at it, but it's something I have to be really conscious of. So that happens sometimes. D&D allows this beautiful thing where we can play all the time. So I love that about it. I do think that being with the right people is huge. For me, I know one thing that helps me a lot is just the context of things. For some reason, I think being in a dungeon master position, you get used to being the center of attention a little bit, or being the driving force, being the leader in some regards, to the point where when I'm running for example, this Monday, from the time that we're recording this will be in the past by the time this episode comes out, but June 29th, Monday, I'm facilitating and hosting a charity thing for our friends over at For the Cause events, where we play For the Queen, and I'm running one of their things. Out of the 6 people in it, I think I've worked with 3 or 4 of them, but there are people on that table I've never worked with before in my life.
Yeah.
I know that I'll be totally fine because I'm in a leadership capacity. And so for some reason, me personally, my own nerves kind of take a back seat sometimes, because I'm in this like quote unquote leadership position.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna feel really fine. You've seen it before when we've done the elf table script, like
Yeah.
a huge group of people, and something comes over me where I'm like, hey guys, listen, here's how this is gonna go down. Thank you guys so much for being, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what that is. It was true at work. Like, I'm not the type of person to like go walk up to strangers and be like, hey, saw you from across the bar. That's not me. However, you put me in a sales position and it's
Right.
like, no problem. I can talk to anybody
Right.
because
Right.
that's my
Right.
job. Or like customer service, like when you're like, I don't like talking to people on the phone, but if for some reason I'm customer
Yeah.
service, then like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
at it because I have to be. Uh, but I do think that like, yeah, the people around you, I think that there's a certain level of just like practice and putting the time in where you feel more comfortable with it over time.
Mhm.
Um, and I also think that because like some of it is just like a personal thing. You could be
Yeah.
with your bestest of friends and still be like, I don't feel comfortable hitting this thing or doing this thing.
Yeah.
Like, that being said, everybody has their own comfort zones. We're going to get into all of that. I think it's interesting to talk to people about what kind of gets them into that headspace of like role play. And we're going to talk about like triggers, like things that might help you
Yeah.
in that one session get into role play versus like a campaign.
Mhm,
You
mhm,
know, like
mhm.
over a campaign, it's like there you can make slow progress of getting that player a little bit more into role play because there's a difference between like helping somebody get out of their comfort zone in a consensual, helpful way
Right.
versus like, no, man, cry now, cry real tears now. Being like, I don't want to do that actually.
Right.
Right?
Right.
We talked all about boundaries and safety
Yeah.
tools and session zeros and all that stuff. So, I mean, we're gonna get into it, some of that stuff
Mhm.
again. But gang, have you seen the Patreon? Have you heard
I
of
should
it?
check it out.
Because it's there. The link is in the description. You can find the link tree. You can join the Patreon. You can join it for free and get a bunch of magic items that are homebrewed once a week. And there's all this other stuff that you can get just for $2 a month. That's insane. $2 a month, and you're getting like setting modules, you're getting fucking subclasses, you're getting species and different things, you're getting bonus action episodes. And then at the higher tiers, you can get things like the action surges. We have our next actual play that by the time this episode comes out, we've already had an episode come out. Guess what? The action surge of those episodes, they're over on the Patreon where you get to see the cast sit down and we're going to talk about the episode that just occurred fresh.
Mhm.
And we're going to sit down and talk about it. So it's like so much, it's interesting information. You get to see how actual plays work, how some of the performances happen, what the inspiration for a lot of things were. So it's just a really cool behind the scenes. So check it out. Link in the description. Out of breath.
Yeah. I was a
I've been
lot.
activating the standing desk. You can't really tell, but I'm using a standing desk right now. Listeners can't tell at all, but for the
Right.
viewers on our YouTube, I'm using a standing desk, and it's been
Mhm,
a
mhm.
game changer. It has been the teensiest of leg workouts because it's just you have to
Um,
stand for hours at a
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But so role play.
Role
Why are we
play.
even discussing this?
Because at the end of the day, it is a tabletop role-playing game. That's
Mm,
kind of the whole
mm.
point of the game is the role playing. It's in the title.
True, 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 true,
In
true.
in my mind, like it's one of, if not the most important part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think there's varying degrees of role play that
Yeah.
I really change from table to table. And not I don't think any of them are inherently incorrect. I think you play how your table wants to play.
Mm-hmm.
If you're really wanting to get kind of more video gamey with it, where your players are not super, like, they're not going to do an in character conversation with the goblin guy, but they will go up and hit A and ask for the lore dump or whatever. You know what I'm
Yeah, can
saying?
I walk up to this goblin and ask him where his leader is?
Right, right.
I don't know
So
where my leader is. I haven't seen him in 3 weeks. All right. So then I ask him, like that's
right, yeah, yeah,
possible.
yeah,
You can
yeah.
always be in third person.
Hmm.
because you know that's like one of the early clues I remember hearing from somebody is like one of the ways is to start like if you're a player and you want to be more into role playing, start
Yeah.
talking in I statements in
Yes.
first person. That's one
Yes.
way to kind of get yourself a little bit more empathetic into this character. But I do agree that there's varying degrees of what is even considered role play.
Right.
Right? Because
I mean,
like when
because
you play a video game, it's an RPG, but like are you fully doing a voice and getting into like you know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Right,
not
right,
really.
right.
Like when I'm playing Daniel the DM right now is on Twitch playing Ghost of Yote. When I'm Yote,
Hilarious.
when I'm Ghost of Yote,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna be honest, not often going, what would Yote do?
Right, right.
Right? I'm not even role playing as her,
Yeah.
really. Like, am I her? Technically, yeah, she's the main character, so I'm her. But like,
Hmm.
I'm not necessarily like, she would never stab somebody in the back.
Oh yeah, no, no,
No, she will.
no.
She will, because I will.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because that game, I love the stealth elements. So it's
Um,
like all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's
But
interesting.
yeah, so it's just yeah, it's part of the game, and I think that can be rewarding in any way. Is basically my point on the whole thing. Is like it's again, it all comes down to the only way you lose at D&D is if you don't have fun.
Hmm.
That's the whole point of it. If you had fun sitting down and playing the game, you won. Congratulations.
Yeah.
See you in 2 weeks.
100%. So what we're talking about today is more about there are players out there who want to get into role playing on a deeper
Mhm.
level or a more like stereotypical actual play level kind
Mhm.
of thing, and they don't know where to start or they feel uncomfortable or they don't have the tools or
Right.
the environment or what have you. And so this episode is really about like the players who want to get better at role play, here's what you can do to help them. And even the ones who maybe they're not actively seeking to get better, but some of the tips that we'll provide are like very soft and they're not like aggressive ways of getting people to it's very like
Mhm.
casual laid back, it's very
Mhm.
secondary, don't worry about it. Like asking a player a little question of like what do you think your character's favorite color is, that's not that aggressive. You're not putting
Mhm.
them in a ton of spot. They don't have to do a voice because you asked that question. You're
Right.
fine.
Right.
There are other things. Yeah,
Mhm.
obviously you don't want to be a dick about it and be like, no, do a voice. Do a voice. It can't sound like you. Then like you're being a dick now. Now you're being a dick. Because there's like, the give and take of like your own expectations, the different players' expectations, but
Mhm.
also everyone's comfort level. So even in your head, if you're like, I want it to be critical role, like you still have to be like, I'm not playing with Laura Bailey though. So
Right.
kind of
Right,
chill
right,
on that.
right. You're
But
right.
yeah. So going in line with all of this before we get
Mhm.
into like all of the details and tips and tricks, the important notes that we've already discussed very many of, but just to reiterate them, meet people where they're at. So like if somebody comes at you and they're like, I don't want to do voices and I don't want to do this, it makes me deeply uncomfortable and I hate it, then don't make that person do that.
Yeah.
Like meet them where they're at a little bit. If somebody is like comes at you and says, I've never done role play, but I'm deeply fascinated by it and I want to do it, that's awesome. Now you can
Mhm.
use that to your advantage
Right.
going forward. The other thing, not everybody's gonna, and we already talked about this, not everybody's
Mhm.
gonna enjoy role play the way that you do.
Right.
And that's okay.
Mhm.
I love voices. I like almost I feel weird not doing voices for any NPC for
That's just you getting Stockholm syndrome by being a forever DM.
I love voices. It feels
You
weird doing not voices. So like that's for me though. And that's just like I can't every time I some of my best friends in D&D don't use voices and I'm like
Yeah,
couldn't be me, but
it
okay.
depends on the character. I rarely do. There's a handful of them that I do, but for the most part, I don't
It's
I
I
don't do
sometimes it's fun.
even when
I
I
think like
DM, I don't really do a lot of voices.
it's a personal thing. It's
Mhm.
truly like a comfort zone. Like for me, unbelievably comfortable doing voices. Like it's just a fun thing for
Mhm.
me to do. I do voices all the time at home. I like my sister and I have this running joke right now of like we were watching one of the soccer teams. I can't remember who, man. It was like one of the Eastern European kind of teams. And she was like, I
Mhm.
don't want to be mean, but it does feel like when every time they show their coach, he does seem like the kind of person who would be like, if you do not score, you will never see your family again. And so my sister and I were watching this game, and every time a player made a mistake, like passed the ball out of bounds, like anything, we were like, your family's life is on the line, and you concede a corner kick out there, you. It was just so fun. But so I love doing voices.
Mhm.
That makes me feel comfortable though. And because I'm so comfortable with it, when I'm using DMing stuff, like it isn't as much of an extra leap when it comes to like improv, because that can be a thing for people. Like if you're not good or comfortable with voices and accents and all that shit, and then you have to improv a scene or improv a
Mhm.
character, and on top of that, you have to add in a Yorkshire accent, like that's hard. I
Yeah.
can tell you, as somebody who likes doing voices, that one of the reasons I love the game currently, like for the Queen, is because it gives me an opportunity to do an accent for the whole show as one character, and I get to practice.
Right.
So I start with a German accent, but by the end, it's borderline Jamaican and offensive, and I don't want it to be. I was going for Irish, but something happens along the way, man. Those two islands, dude.
Yep.
Those two damn islands, dude. The fish and chips, man. No, it's not important. But like, so the
All right. Where are we going with this?
people are gonna get good at role play if they
Mhm.
want to and if they put work into
Yes.
it. If it's something that they're interested in, then fantastic. So be patient, be open-minded, be compromising and flexible. It'll improve little by little. People just get more and more comfortable, whether it's the
Mhm.
people around them, whether it's more comfortable with themselves, whatever it needs to happen, for that individual. But just hang in there, you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now, for me, getting into it, I think one of the ways that it starts in terms of getting people into role playing, using D&D as like our big example, obviously,
Right.
is with their character. I think it's going to start there. I think that's an easy way to start. Like,
Yeah.
assuming we have like a slightly newer player, right? Then I think this is huge. Oh, you want to
Mhm.
play a barbarian? Why do you want to play a barbarian? What about playing a barbarian is interesting to you? What kind of barbarian? What kind of character are you trying to play? Is there any forms of inspiration you're drawing from? Because then if somebody comes to you and says, listen, I kind of want to play Robin Hood mixed with Batman, then it's like, okay, at least we have something to pick from. We have some
Right. Right.
some things that I'm familiar with that I can help you out with here. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that
It
like
definitely does start there with the.
because it's also like asking them questions about their character in the sense of
Mhm.
like not just why does the player want to play a barbarian, but also like, okay, your character's name is Gragnar. Why does Gragnar have so much rage? What's fueling that rage? Where's that rage coming from?
Mhm.
And now it gets the player to start thinking, because now it's not it for them, for somebody who's maybe uncomfortable with role play. We haven't really hit that yet, right? There's nothing that
Right.
I'm saying yet that should make that person feel uncomfortable. Right now I'm just asking them behind the scenes, like more creatively, just thinking about your character a little bit more.
Right.
So it's like, okay, why would Gragnar choose to be a barbarian? What is giving him all of this rage? Maybe there was a huge event. Okay, what was that event? Why did that event affect him so much? Why is he still thinking about it? Why can't he get over it? Blah 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 blah, blah. Okay, we're gonna
Mhm.
go this subclass. Why are we choosing that subclass?
Right.
Maybe zealot makes sense because I want to play a character who's connected to a religion or a deity. Maybe it makes more sense that we go this direction for those reasons. Why are you picking that background? Why are you picking this spell over that spell? You can get really in depth with some of these questions during character creation. And
Mhm.
that's not even really including backstory stuff or like connecting that character to the setting or whatever.
Right. 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 Right.
But I think like once like when a player and their character, the closer they are, the easier it is to role play things because it's just like a
Yeah.
one to one, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's why when I play Baldur's Gate, I can never do the evil runs because it's so far from me. Like, not that I'm some goody two shoes, but like, I genuinely, even in a fucking video game, can't
Yeah.
just slaughter goblins. I don't know what it is about my life, but I just can't. Like, I can't do the evil dirge. It's not like I didn't kill goblins. I did, but like,
Right.
I can't do the thing where they're like, oh, slowly kill this person in front of me. That it like, there's certain like,
Yeah.
story prompts that are like leaning towards evil like really hard, and I
With the
can't do them.
dark urge. Yeah.
I can't do it. I have no
I can't
interest in it
either.
whatsoever. And people are like, but the story, and I'm like, I don't want to know that story. I'm not going to be evil. I don't want to play a D&D character that's evil. It's not
Mhm.
interesting to me unless we're all evil and it's kind of comedy,
Yeah.
like the way
My
that
Baldur's
Brendan did
Gate
it.
run has been very gray. It's been very morally gray, and I'm
And
okay
that's
with it.
fine. That's fine. It's each their own. I have friends who do the dirge and they fucking love it, and then
Yeah.
but they're the sweetest people. So
Well, mine
it's
is
just
just
not for
more
me.
like I'm amassing a party of like lesser deities now. Like I'm about to have a like Astarion becomes this crazy vampire god thing, or like there's a ritual for it. I haven't done it yet, but there's like a ritual for Astarion to become like this crazy vampire god. There's another one where Gale is trying to like beat out Mistra and get a whole bunch of other
Hmm.
stuff and become a god himself. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I guess I'm just gonna create a bunch of deities here, and then we're gonna go wreck the end of the game. That's where I'm at right now.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's an interesting thing, but I do think that like the more you know your character, the more you can start to fill in their
Yeah,
shoes and start to make
yeah.
decisions that they would make in a way that is still like recognizing that we're playing a game, that you're actually not this character. We're playing pretend, and you shouldn't be a dick about things. Obviously,
Mhm.
leading us to like, this is what my character would do kind of
Oh yes.
controversy of like the saying on its own, and even that sentiment is fine. It's when it's
Mhm.
used to as an excuse to be a dickhead or like
Right.
misogynistic or something dumb,
Right.
where it's like, no. You made this has nothing to do with your character and everything to do with you as a player.
Right.
Versus people who are genuinely like, do I go left in the tunnel or right? I go left because that's what my character would do. Like, that's fine. That's fine. I don't know why. That's an interesting character choice. He just
Right.
loves left.
He just
But
loves
that's an
it.
interesting thing.
It's
But like,
Zoolander. He can't turn right.
there you go. Maybe. So, like, all different kinds of things. I think that as a dungeon master, during these moments, you should start asking questions to get your players thinking.
Mhm.
Why do you think your character would go for this particular subclass? How do you think that your character would feel knowing that their hometown is in this current state of events? So on and so forth.
Mhm.
Right? Like, just get your player to start thinking about some of these deeper questions about their character, so that later on in the campaign, there will be moments in the middle of a session where you might ask something like, how do you think Grognar feels about what just happened, about what they
Right.
just saw, and it gives them a better opportunity now that they know Gregnar a little bit better because of the foundations that we've laid. We're
Mhm.
better off. Um, I think that these kind of questions or prompts or whatever can occur before, during, or and after character creation. Um, Before is kind of like a little hyperbolic, obviously, but like you can get them to start thinking about characters,
Right.
when you give somebody a setting there, you're already giving them some information that can help
Mhm.
them towards character creation. But even then, during, we already mentioned, but after as well, just the idea of like, okay, where do you think your character's from? Does your character know this NPC, or do you think your character has any siblings? Do you think that your character is good at these weapons? Why are they good at those weapons? Why does your character wear that kind of armor, not this kind of armor?
Right.
There, like, we can go on and on and on. Obviously, if we knew the plot, if we knew the setting, the questions can get even more specific. We've talked ad nauseum about Mythos University and me being able to connect you guys to different NPCs and being like, what's your
Mhm.
relationship with this character? It could be the same with setting of like, uh, hey, we're going to be playing Sword Coast Q. Here are the 6 cities that will come up most often. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like Waterdeep, da da da. Like, if you want to be from Neverwinter, that's fine. and I can work whenever winter in, but it's not an established part of the setting campaign module,
Right.
and therefore it will be a little bit extra. But just so you know what I mean? Like there's ways to do all that kind of stuff. There's also like those are mostly all examples of like individual questions. There's
Right.
also group kind of questions. Hey, your guys' last mission didn't go well. What was it, and why didn't it go well? And how did you guys get out of there unscathed?
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Now we're as a group, we're brainstorming. Maybe you do that
And
on like a Discord
how
server, like on
did,
one of the channels or
yeah,
something.
or even something as simple as how did X and Y player meet? How did you guys meet?
Hmm.
Where's the first time you guys ran into each other?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Depending on how you're setting it up,
mhm.
like assuming you're going in the direction of at least some of the players know each other,
Right.
which I always think is better.
I do
Honestly, I
too. I
think
think it,
if you're doing like all 5 players are strangers, boy,
mm,
does that lead to some shit. It just is likely to, I
yeah,
guess. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, but
But
you
anyway,
can have those relationship building questions. There's so many different examples of them. You can find a ton online. You can just find just relationship questions or whatever. But like kids on
kids on
bikes would be a
bikes.
really good example.
Yeah.
Kids on Bikes has a whole list of 60 different questions that you can ask between players where it's like,
Hmm.
why do you trust this character? Why don't you trust this character? What is the secret that you're willing to let this character hold on to? What is a physical memento that you passed exchange from one another? Like there's just millions of different ways you can build on things.
Yeah.
Uh there's also, as mentioned, setting or NPC specific questions to connect them to the setting and to the world building and everything like that. So it could be something like, okay, we're deciding that your character's from Yarder. Fantastic. Are they rich or are they poor? Like, would they be in the inner rings or the outer rings? Okay, outer rings. Fantastic. What do you think your parents, like, assuming your parents are still alive, what do you think they do for work? Or are
Right.
they kind of like retired? You're sort of taking care of them. Like, where are we sort of figuring things out? Okay, fantastic. There's a guy in town named Beldebar Yarin. He's like a pretty he lives on the outer ring. Like I know Yarder enough
Right.
because of our games, but like
Yeah.
you could go that in depth where you're like, here's an NPC. Do you think they would know them? Or here's the
Hmm.
3 NPCs. Pick one. You know them.
Right. 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 And
That way
that's,
they
I think
definitely
that's,
have a connection.
yeah, I think that's a good method there of also trying to elicit some kind of a response from the player of here you go, you know this person, or pick a group of people, potion shop owner, the bookshop owner, or the librarian, or something along those lines, and go,
Hmm,
you
hmm,
know
hmm.
one of them, which do you know? Who would you like to have a relationship with? Cool.
100%.
His
I
name is
also
Steven, and there we go.
it's so helpful to do the multiple choice or the either or thing too,
Hmm.
especially when you're talking to like maybe a player who's like a little shyer or like less creative or like they haven't had a lot of practice
Hmm.
flexing those muscles. Because if you were to say something of like, who's an NPC that you would like to know in this world? Like you can make them up.
That's way too open, man.
It's
It's
too much.
way too open. Yeah.
As opposed to this one or this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, right, right,
What
right.
day do you want to meet versus Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
A lot easier. That's like sales training coming back to me of
Hmm.
like when you have to schedule things with like clients
Yeah.
or like potential
What works
clients.
better for you, morning or afternoon?
Yep.
Not.
Weekdays or weekends. Yep.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That way you're not giving them the option to say no,
Right.
which
They
is
have
why
to
you
make a
do it on a
choice.
sales front. On
Right.
a D&D helping our players front, it's because we're trying to be a little helpful
Hmm.
and
It's
not put
because
too much on
that's
them.
just how the human brain works. If you ask a big open-ended question like that, a lot of people, myself, I have a very difficult time with the open-ended stuff of like, hey, how like what person do you know? Who would you like that? What we were just talking
Hmm,
about.
hmm.
My brain immediately goes, oh, I could know 1,000 people. I could know this guy, I could know this, and like just list through all the people that I could know. Who do I
Hmm,
want? And then that's too much, but giving a choice limits it. Again, it's freedom through rails. We
hmm.
give them the rails to ride on so that we can have more fun and have a better, more lived in world.
So you can whip the ball down the bowling alley.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. I think that I have this unique method of like that also happens to me of like they ask me a question, my brain's like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
But then I have my secondary, my like contingency plan for when that happens is first thought, best thought.
Fair. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So my brain goes, oh, and then as soon as my brain goes, it could be Ralph. I go, Ralph, it's Ralph.
Like a like you ever seen a this is going to be kind of gross to think about, but like a slime mold. Have you seen those TikToks
Oh
where the dude
yes,
puts the slime mold and it reaches out
in
and
the
then it finds
mazes.
the food and then it's just like boom and
Yeah,
it creates this one
A to
little
B.
line. Yeah.
It's exactly how my brain operates, like a
Uh-huh.
slime. My brain is a slime. Collaborative storytelling. Now, this is a great way to get players thinking both creatively and collaboratively with each other, and it lends itself perfectly to D&D because it's part of the fucking game, as is true for the vast majority of TTRPGs.
Mhm.
So, how do we get our players to collaboratively storytell? How do we get them to contribute other than just the most obvious things, which is like you've made a character, you've presumably provided a little bit of a backstory. We've asked
Mhm.
those questions to tie that character into the setting or the plot or what have you. So we've already done a little bit of collaborative storytelling already
Yeah. Yeah.
without us taking like any of the extra steps that you could do already with like, okay, guys, our story takes place in a town. What do we want the town to be called? Because you could do that.
Mhm.
You could let the players world build with you at times, whether it's before the
Right.
sessions or during sessions. If you're in a town where you're like, okay, I didn't personally have like I don't have a tavern written down for this little town that we're walking through. I just
Right.
want for one reason or another, whether it's the module or me, I don't have it. So then you could in theory just come up with one, right? That's
Right.
the standard way of doing things is just the dungeon master just goes, "Okay guys, there's a tavern. Guess what? It's going to be named the Prancing Pony probably because because Lord of the Rings." And
Yeah.
so what else could it be called though? Because you could just ask the players.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've had a
That
lot of
is a
fun with
good
this.
I have had a lot also had a lot of fun with this of like it's a good way to kind of start a session, especially a session like a first session or something like that. It's like, all right, we're starting out on a tavern. Player A, what's the tavern called? Okay, player B, what does it look like from outside? Player C, what does the inside look like? Player D, what kind of people are here? You go
Hmm.
around the table and everybody gives a little bit more just to kind of bring the whole table in on the scene, and then you
Yep,
go
yep,
from
yep.
there.
Yeah. So nice. Everybody gets to feel like they contribute a little bit.
Mhm.
It's just really, really fun. I remember like anytime that that's happening and like the DM is asking other players first, I'm always like, ooh, I can't wait. I can't wait till it gets to me because I'm going to do some crazy shit.
Yeah.
What does the inside look like, you ask? Oh, buddy, get ready.
Cat cafe.
Indoor water park. No, what?
Mm, I like your
Indoor
idea
water
better.
park. All of the lifeguards are cats. They
Beautiful.
will
Yeah.
not save you. They don't like water. They just
Like,
blow whistles at you.
there's this sign. We cannot emphasize this enough. The lifeguards are just for show. They will not go in the water.
Like a bunch of cats, real cats, not like
Yeah.
humanoid
Yeah. Yeah.
cats,
Yeah.
not like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
tabaxi,
Yeah. 100%.
like straight up house cats, just like
But they have
sitting on
the
the top of a lifeguard tower.
with
Wow.
the white lifeguard tank top.
Yeah,
Mm,
little oxide on the nose.
little maybe.
So fun. So that's what I mean. I think genuinely like just have a blast with it. That's the thing is like you're trying to institute into these players the notion that we're not don't take anything seriously. Like
Yeah.
obviously we take something seriously, like
Yeah.
the physics of the world. No, you can't literally do anything, blah 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 blah. But to a certain degree, it's like, guys, we're not fucking Christopher Nolan. We're not here to win Oscars. Like,
Mhm.
let's all just chill and have a good time. It all goes back to the central
Yeah.
idea of fun. And so you just got to, for some people, again, these are the people who are like, want to get better at role play and all that kind of stuff. It's just, you're just trying to get them on your level where you're like, see how silly you can be. and we're all having a fun time, and like
Mhm.
it doesn't need to feel like you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable in a way that's going to hurt you or something like that. Like we're not
Right.
putting our lives on the line here. Like
I
we're
think,
just
yeah.
making
Yeah.
jokes.
Yeah. I think a lot of it does come down to that kind of fear of judgment, that you're gonna say something and everybody's gonna be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And like the game itself is, I mean, again, we're playing pretend, gang.
I
At the
know.
end of the day,
It's
we're just
already
playing
silly.
pretend. It's already
It's
silly.
already silly. So let's just take it all the way to
Yeah.
fucking 11.
Yeah, let's do it.
So yeah, you can have the players, their world building with you and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I think another thing that dungeon masters can really do to illustrate collaborative storytelling, when your players give you their backstory, they talk about NPCs or important events in those backstories, include them.
Yeah.
Try to. Obviously,
Mhm.
you can work with them if like because I've had this happen where like you bring in a new player and they find something online. I don't know where they find this, but they find something online that tells them just to roll dice, and the roll dice, and then they roll dice and they go, so I rolled dice. I got, and it says I have a familiar now. I go, you're not a wizard. How do you have a familiar? What are you talking about? And they, oh, I rolled on a table, or oh, I rolled on a table. It says I can understand prophecies. I go, what? What are you talking about? Or, oh, I rolled on a prophecy and it says that I saw that the falling of this very specific insert town name here. And I'm like, that town name isn't a part of our setting. I don't know where you're getting this shit from.
Right.
So like sometimes that happens. They just go looking
Mhm.
for things as opposed to just asking the DM questions. But they're new
Mhm.
players, so you give them some slack.
Yep.
Now there are some things I worked in. You get prophecies. Okay, hell yeah. You're a warlock. You're deity. That makes sense. We can make that work. Okay, you have a pet. Let's instead of this, let's make it a bloodhawk because that's way more manageable than whatever it was.
Right.
Okay, let's put this in here. Let's put this in here. We can make this work. This is connected to this. I can, instead of this person killed your fiance, let's say that it was, I don't know, Dragon's Bane. Okay, cool. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm just
Yeah.
connecting things. But
And
by
I
doing that, they feel like seen in a way that is
right.
like, oh, I am part of this world, this story. And so
Mhm.
then it just sets up the like the notion that that's how things are done.
Yes, and an important caveat to all of this is kind of more for longer run campaigns as opposed
Mm,
to one shots. When you're doing one shots, it's very hard to do backstory stuff. Well, I will say to do a lot of backstory stuff. You can work it in a little bit, but
hmm
if you try to go too deep, you're going to wind up just focusing on one player, and that's generally not fun unless that's
Yeah.
what the table's wanting to do. Unless you're doing like a hero's quest type of situation where one person is supposed to be the main player or main character or whatever,
Yeah.
you know.
It's
But
hard. Yeah.
but like yeah, like I was saying, that like the backstory stuff and wrapping all that stuff in is more a longer campaign thing than a
hmm
short term one shot deal. So bear that in mind.
Absolutely.
One thing that I'm not super people really do like making characters and stuff. And as a player, I like to keep in mind the length of the campaign that I'm doing as well.
Mm.
Because for a one shot, I'm not going to send the DM a page and a half of backstory if this character is going to be around for 3 hours and then it's going
I
to move.
know.
You
Yeah.
know,
It's like name, class, species, all the normal things, and then
Mhm.
like a sentence or two, you know?
Right? Like
Depending
a
on how much
drive,
the DM's
like
asking for. Yeah, because
mm,
it can I suppose it can change depending on the situation and stuff. But yeah, it always changes. That's the beauty of collaborative storytelling, is that like you never
mhm.
know sometimes. Like we did so many charity streams in June, and one of them we did our kids on bikes spies for a day kind of idea of just like
Yeah.
ordinary teens being asked to be spies because the adult spies are busy. That idea was as simple as that in the beginning. It was just the adult spies are busy, so we need these
Uh-huh.
kids to be spies. And that was it. And then Maya comes in. She comes in and she starts asking questions about logic and storytelling. And but why would they go to kids? Why wouldn't they go to adults?
Right.
If we're
Other
getting
adults.
untrained people, why kids and not adults? And I was like, it's a one shot. it it doesn't matter. But I was like, it truly like, and I love my, yeah, I'm joking, of course. And I've already talked to her about this, about how I was like, I do appreciate you being on some of these, because I'll come in with this like such a loose idea. Being like, I don't know, random people have to be spies. That's the idea. And she's like, okay, but why? And I'm like, I don't know. Or she's like, are we the kids of spies? Is it like spy kids? And I was like, I guess that makes more sense. Sure. Some of you are the kids of spies. And so then it was still like,
Yeah.
okay, but who, what, like, why are we here? It was like, okay, you guys are out on a trip, like a field trip. And Maya is the one who's like, where's the field trip going? Why are we on a field trip? And I'm like, I don't know, man. You're going to be on that field trip for 30 seconds and then
Right.
immediately become spies. Like, it
Right.
doesn't matter. We have 3 hours. So it was just like so funny. I do love Maya's ability to like, or her almost like need to know those things so that
Yeah.
she can get really into things. But I love it. I think it's perfect. It's an example of asking questions. I think questions are where everything comes from. Is just like the idea of before, during, after sessions, whether it's icebreaker questions to get people into character and kind of start thinking about their character, to go from the warm up into the actual game itself, so that you're starting to think about the character.
Right.
During a game, you can just be like, hey, how's your character feeling about this? What do you think, Kaladin's thinking about what's just happened? How are they feeling about this? Da, 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 or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, just starting to get them, because that's one of those questions where you're genuinely not asking them to like speak in character voice or anything. You're almost
Right.
asking the player
For the
how
inner.
you think their character is feeling in this moment.
Right.
So it gives you an opportunity to separate yourself and kind of think more thoughtfully. And you're not necessarily having to answer in first person. You can say, Kaladin is feeling X, Y, and Z. So I think, yeah, all of those kinds of things. Anytime you're asking the players to get inside their own character's head or their motivations or goals, ideals, whatever, then
Yeah.
they're starting to role play. We're starting to get there. We're chipping away. But I think
Yeah.
it starts with, and it goes back to what I was mentioning before. I do think the Dungeon Master, not that it all has to fall on the Dungeon Master, but I do think there's something to be said about setting the example.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dungeon Masters can get into character. They can show how silly they can be. Makes everybody else at the table feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that anytime I've ever played D&D and I start dropping a couple funny voices, people start feeling a lot more comfortable. Because then it becomes like, oh, I'm not going to be laughed at. I'm going to be laughed with. And it shows this level of like, I'm not the clown at the table. I'm just a clown amongst clowns.
Right.
You're just in the clown car. You know what I mean? So it's like,
It's a smart car. There's 14 of you. Anyway, yeah, so this is kind of one of those things where it also doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do silly voices, because like I said earlier, I don't often do voices when I'm being a dungeon master, but it does come down to I think if you set a vibrant scene, if you do good descriptions of the person that's doing the talking, that it will also lend itself to better role play. And so that means kind of speaking a bit more dramatically and kind of expositively. Talk about what you hear, what you smell, what you, not just what the players are seeing, but all of the senses that are going on in the moment. Slow it down a little bit, make sure that everybody's kind of following with you, make sure that everybody's on the same page. And then you can just kind of talk. And like I said, I don't do voices, but you can still have a role play conversation even without a silly NPC voice.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because there's so many different ways. It all depends on people's comfort levels and like where they're willing to go when it comes to any kind of voices or acting. Because you don't need to do a silly voice or an accent or anything like that. You could just change the speed at which you speak. You could
Right.
change some of the vocabulary, maybe use bigger words, smaller words. Maybe it's just the like again, this all comes down to a person's comfort level, but you could just like heighten your voice and lower your voice a little
Mhm.
bit, and that changes things drastically. If there is an accent that you feel good with, you could employ that as much as you want and change the other things. Because if you do a New York accent real fast versus a New York accent real slow, it sounds a little different. Those are two different
Mhm.
characters. So there's just millions of different ways you could do things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that like once the dungeon master, I do this a lot. Like I always make it known of like, all right, we're starting the story. Last we left off. That kind of thing of like
Yeah.
the way the cadence and just the
Mhm.
gravitas of kind of how you're the performance
Mhm.
of it all kind
Mhm.
of just like our story begins. It's very
Right.
like movie trailer voice kind
Yeah,
of,
yeah, yeah.
you know, this summer a story like you've never seen before. So
Yep.
stupid.
Yep.
But yeah, speaking in voices, even just like Taylor brought up already that you could speak in an NPC voice and have like a conversation that way without using a voice. But even just saying, "Hey, I'm Gary the Goblin. What's up? What do you guys need?" You're
Yeah.
still role playing. You're still acting
Yeah.
as the Goblin, even if
Exactly.
like maybe the Goblin it doesn't sound like that. Whatever, blah blah.
Right.
But like because you're talking in character, whether it's voice or not,
Mhm.
it's just that other thing of setting the example. It's being like, okay, see how I'm doing it? You can do it. Monkey see,
Mhm.
monkey do.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I
And
mean? Just kind
also
of a
doing that automatic kind of brings that thought of response to the player's head
in
more
first
quickly
person,
in the
usually
first
too.
person
Yeah.
sense. Yes. Of, hey, what are you doing? I want to buy, you want to buy something? What are you doing?
Hmm.
You know,
And
and
then I
then,
think
oh
that
yeah,
like,
you need to buy some health potions.
yeah, exactly. It's just like because you're asking like simple questions that almost demand a response.
Hmm.
Presumably, it's almost easier and more natural for that player to respond in character
Correct.
because
Right,
of
right, right.
grammar most of the time. But even then, it's just like,
Yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
just
yeah.
makes sense. Um, I do think the other thing is like having other players who are maybe good at role play can be very helpful.
Hmm.
Like I know if I'm a player at
Hmm.
anybody's table, I'm gonna make the other players feel better about role play by osmosis.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
you're at a table and one person at the table is not in a way that's like distracting or annoying or all the red flags, but just green or even beige flags, but it is kind of like hamming it up, you're
Hmm.
kind of like, ah, okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
can I can
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
this.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, it just
yeah.
like makes you feel a little bit better. So I think all of those things all factor in together to just provide the environment where people can feel safe and comfortable. Because that's kind of what all of these tips go down to. There's like the side of like getting to know your character and the setting and the story, and that
Hmm.
familiarity makes role play easier. And then there's a thing of just about comfort and
Right.
safety and just like feeling good about it, you know?
Hmm.
Because like my sister is so not interested in role play when it comes to D&D. Like if
Hmm.
D&D, if it's Baldur's Gate and it's a video game, different. She's fine. That's different.
Right.
I don't have to do any voices. I don't even have to pretend to like I've tried
Yeah.
so hard to get her to even try a D&D game and she could not be less interested because of the role play. It's the one part of the game she's like
Right.
so against.
Right.
Even when I've been like, you don't have to talk in character, you can say if your character's name is Rebecca, you can just say Rebecca walks to the door and opens the door.
Hmm.
She's like, I don't even want to make decisions like that. Like I don't want to. She just is like
Right. Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
against it, where it's like,
That's fair.
okay, I've seen the wall. There's no point. Well, I'll just stop where I'm at. Right. We'll play flip seven maybe. Um,
Right.
but whatever. But I do think at the end of the day, all of these different tips and tricks, it all goes back to the we one that we've talked about with everything other than it depends. It's just
Uh,
practice.
Practice. Yeah.
It's just practice. We're just talking about practice here, man. You could practice this sort of thing. Obviously, there's some people who might think that like being an actor is like this God-given talent kind of thing, and that's bullshit as far as I'm concerned, because that's stupid. But I do think that like it's just a training thing. It's just a practice thing. It's just a repetition, kind
Mhm.
of numbing yourself to the awkwardness of it all. You know what I mean? Like to the point where nowadays, you look back to Taylor and I's like early Twitches, like videos and stuff like that. It's
Right.
very different from today.
Oh yeah.
Today, I host a live stream. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what's going on. It's fine. I'm not worried at all. There was a time when maybe that wasn't the case, like
Mm.
it's just gonna happen. I would highly recommend For the Queen, a game by Darrington Press. It's like improv card-based prompt game kind of thing where you're all members of the Queen's retinue and you just go around in a circle and draw cards from the deck, and they ask you questions about your character and your relationship with the Queen and with each other. And it'll
Mhm.
say something like, "The Queen betrayed you. What happened?" Or, "The Queen is the only one who trusts you. Why does she only trust you?" Things like that.
Right.
And you're just answering those questions. And so as you're going, you're just building these questions. And sometimes you go into that game being like, I think this time I'm gonna love the Queen. I'm gonna pick somebody who loves the Queen. And then you get a question that's like, the Queen thinks you're a little piece of shit. And you're like, no. So the game throws these curves at you. You're
Mhm.
technically allowed to like bypass a question, but
Yeah.
I don't, because number one, none of the questions hit my boundaries, so I don't care about that. But I like the like randomness of being like, the last question was like, you love the Queen, and this question's like, fuck the Queen. And I like having to be like, why is that? What
Right.
happened? So then I just always sit there and I'm like, the year was 1945. Germany had just fell. And I just go into a story. I have fun. I have
Mhm.
so much fun with those
Oh
games.
yeah.
But it's practice. It's improv
Mm.
practice. Same thing with like
Yeah.
Make Some Noise or any game from like Whose Line Is It Anyway, or any fucking improv style game,
Mm.
Podcasts. Podcasts will get you
Hey,
going.
yeah.
We
Podcast
had a
will
lot
get
of
you
fun with
going.
podcasts. That'll eventually be on the itch. We'll put it on
Yeah.
the itch because somebody actually bought one of our things on the itch recently.
Oh,
It was
nice.
cool. But that's pretty much it for this week.
Yes.
For this week's episode. Part of me wants to try and force you to do the wolf
I'm not
howl since
gonna.
you're doing the okay.
I'm not
Okay.
gonna.
Fair. One of these days. I'll find a way to
Maybe.
how am I
Yeah.
gonna trick somebody into making a wolf howl?
Yeah.
Hey,
Good
read
luck.
this.
Good
Read
luck.
this off the teleprompter,
Let
and you're
me
like,
let me tell you this.
how like how do you trick somebody into wolf howling?
Yeah. Yeah. If you
Just
figure
like,
it out, you'll get
read
me.
this.
Yeah.
It's the only thing
Justin's
I can
gonna
think
go
of.
through all of the previous scrub, all of the previous
I'll find a
footage, and find just a bunch of O sounds to string together, and it'll just be one super cut of yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
sound insane.
Yeah.
Well, gang, it's that time of the week again. Time for our segment. You know it, you love it. It's time for Monster of the Week. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
you got
this
one
week,
for us this week.
yeah, I do. Because I think it's kind of one of those like everybody has kind of come across in like a movie or something, this character. The character's name is or the cryptid's name is Ingrid Cold, or is commonly known as the Smiling Man. Not really sure if it's like an alien or if it's like a ghost or what have you, but it is just a dude who sits there and smiles uncomfortably at people. And like, I know that there have been like definitely some horror movies that have done this very well, of the just the creepy dead-eyed smile person. So the Gritty Man is reported to be human-like in appearance, He's commonly associated with UFO activity and sometimes is believed to be an alien. So that's where that comes from. It's just connected to the Men in Black. In his first sighting, he's over 6 feet tall and wearing a reflective green suit with a black belt. He has dark complexion, small beady eyes set far apart. Original description has him not having any nose, ears, or hair. And then in this, that's kind of where the alien thing comes from. Still, like we're thinking about extraterrestrial, creepy, smiling guy. And then in another second encounter, he was said to have a blue, reflective suit instead of a green one. But other than that, pretty much the same. Other than that, he was described as looking perfectly natural with slick back hair, a coat, and the top two coat with the top two buttons unbuttoned, pants that are lighter than the coat but still the same material. He is described as being quite tan, though not dark, and looking like any normal human being.
This is crazy.
Yeah, so it is really. He's a dude, and he sits there and he smiles at people. One of the quotes, Jimmy nudged me and I said, "Who's that guy standing behind you?" I looked around and there he was behind the fence, just standing there. He pivoted around and looked right at us. Then he grinned a big old grin. And I think that is a really a common kind of horror trope. And I think a fun potential, like out of the corner of your eye, maybe like a plot hook of some sort. Like, if you're wanting to use this guy's great for that kind of a deal, because like the Fallout series also has like the mysterious traveler guy, just like this weird G-man that's in the background sometimes, and eventually you can talk to him, but it's just kind of he's just kind of there. This is that same kind of dude except creepier. But yeah, so that's the Smiling Man. Actually the wiki on this is pages and pages and pages, so I'm not going to go into it too much, but very creepy dude, and
there's a lot of stuff. I like that it says his habitat is possibly the planet Lanulos of the Milky Way galaxy.
I'm glad we know where he came from at least.
Like, we're just taking swings on the cryptids. The cryptids wiki is just taking swings on some things. They're like, planet. Pretty sure it's Lanulos. You know, that planet in the Milky Way.
And that one, yep. Yeah.
What?
Sure. I'm sure we can come up with one. But yeah, so that's the Smiling Man, and I think that's all we can get into this time. So you can find us on TikTok and Instagram at So You Want to Be a DM, or you can ask us a question at So You Want to Be a DM at gmail.com. Please stop. If you like the episode, don't forget to give us 5 stars and a review wherever you found us, and check out our Patreon, the Twitch, and our merch with the link in the description. Join us next time for more Dungeon Master tips and tricks.
Bye.
See ya.
Hey gang, it's Justin. I have the honor of giving a shout out to the members of our Patreon gang. Nut Muffins, may Palor's light shine upon you. Marsavies, have you watered your flesh prison lately? Yazvai, the eternal library, where color and community await you. Molly Adeza, who gets yet another level up. Amy Rose Zero, today, don't forget to touch grass, be kind, and resist fascism. And there's Caden, Elijah, Tappy, and Linguini. Gang, we appreciate and love you. Tune in next time for more tips and tricks from So You Want to Be a DM.